Hey guys, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode. In this feature, we're going to be exploring how to make Palourie from scratch with a sweet and spicy mango sauce. Now, the option of that being spicy is totally up to you. You can decrease or increase the amount of spiciness, however, it will maintain the sweetness. So, continue along with me and let's explore how to get this menu going. Enjoy. Hey y'all, and welcome back to yet another recipe. In this recipe, I'm going to be making Palourie. So in this container, I have 3 cups of flour. I have half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1.5 tablespoon of saffron, 1 tablespoon of yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of hot pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of green seasoning, as well as 3 cups of water. Now the water has to be warm because we are using yeast and we want our yeast to activate in the flour. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna add all our dry ingredients. So first we'll add our half a teaspoon of salt, the 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of saffron, the half a tablespoon as well, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of green seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce. And yeah, now we're gonna get this all mixed in. So we're gonna incorporate everything here just by giving it a whisk till it's all blended. So I had shadow benny, which is a spice, a leaf spice from the Caribbean more so. It's another name for cilantro or culantro, whatever you like to call it. So if you didn't have shadow benny leaves, you could use cilantro leaves, about a tablespoon in here, but I'm gonna just incorporate these leaves as well into my flour by giving it a whisk. And after this step, it's the water. So I'm gonna start by adding my first 2 cups of water. I like to add about half of that first and then start whisking it in. I'm gonna put the other half in right away just because it's disappearing, or another 1/3 of that, and start whisking it in. I'm gonna put the rest of that 2 cups in now, and then I'm gonna give it a good mix. So after the first 2 cups, it's still very thick. I know I still have another cup that is left, and this is the last of 3 cups. I'm slowly gonna add that probably in 4 parts. So I'm gonna just keep mixing it in. I may or may not use the whole cup, but I will know based on the texture I get, and I'll definitely show you what texture we're going for this dough. So I'm gonna give this a whisk and I'll show you what that looks like. So I ended up using 2.5 cups of water. I didn't use the full thing till I got the texture that I was going for. So I'm going for more of a texture like this. You know, not watery and not too thin. So this is perfect. This is the texture I like to work with. Hope you're getting a real close up on what it should look like. Like not watery, but not clumpy either, right? So basically, all I did was I put a sheet of cling wrap over the entire container and I sealed it off. I swooped all the ingredients down to the main portion of the bowl and that's it. So now we're moving over to the microwave, and what we're gonna do is we're going to set 30 seconds on here with nothing in it. Second timer, just to get this microwave compartment warmed up. What we're gonna use this as is like a warm environment for this dough, and it will help it will assist it in rising because there'll be, you know what I mean, this warm place where it's gonna sit and be undisturbed, because it has to sit for maximum 2 hours, minimum 1 hour, depends on how it rises, but we'll come back and check. Basically the microwave is warm now, so I'm just gonna close it, and that's gonna be the place that the dough is gonna rest for 2 hours. So the next wisest thing would be to set a timer So I'm going to set a timer for 2 hours, just so I know the maximum amount of time it's been in here. And then from there, I'll be checking it within the first hour to see how fast or how best it has risen. And yeah, so we're moving on to the next step. So guys, here I have 2 mangoes, which I am gonna be chopping. So I'm gonna give these some Chinese chops, and I'll be back to show you what that should look like. In the meantime, I have some seasonings that's ready to go. I have a tablespoon of hot sauce, a tablespoon of saffron, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of green seasoning, and 1 cup of brown sugar. You're also gonna need about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of water, hot. So here I'm taking you in with me on the preparation of the mango. So basically the goal of this is to chop your mango in all sorts of form. There's a core in the middle that you just see on the left hand side there that flew out of that left piece of mango that's on the cutting board, and I just peeled out the other parts. You want to totally throw those parts away. Those are the only things you're only going to be taking out of your mango. Other than that, everything else is a go, the seed included. So you're just going to do the same thing. You're just going to keep chopping this till it chops down into many parts. I'll show you what that's going to look like. Take a look. So it really doesn't matter what shape you get. The point is you're trying to chop it down into many parts of mango. So just keep repeating that process until all your mango is nicely chopped into parts like this, nice little pieces. Yeah, so just keep going. So basically, after you're done chopping your mango to the likings, or to your liking or satisfaction, nice little pieces, nice pieces as you can see they're presented in the bowl, you're going to be adding your water next. Now you're going to be adding the amount of water it takes to submerge this mango in this pot. So you just fix it evenly in there, and then you retrieve the water to go into it next. So here I have some boiling hot water, which I am just using enough that covers that mango. If I had to estimate, I'd say about 1.5 cups. However, I wouldn't just estimate, I would just use the amount of water it takes to submerge that mango. And next, we're going to be seasoning the mango in the pot with all the ingredients that we mentioned. So first off, I'm going to add my hot sauce to it. Now, this is the part I said you can neglect if you're not really into that heat. You could put a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I'm adding my green seasoning to it. As you see there, I'm adding the 2 parts of green seasoning, 2 teaspoons there. As well as I'm going in with the salt. So the 2 tablespoons of salt is going in next. The saffron is going in as well, and we're gonna give that a mix there to incorporate everything. So after that mix, we're gonna add the next teaspoon of salt. I just threw in the juices of the green seasoning, so I added that tablespoon of salt there. And next, it's going to be the sugar. So we're gonna go in with our cup of brown sugar, and we're gonna give that a nice mix as well to incorporate everything. So I just added all those ingredients to the pot. I chopped up the mango, and then to that I added the green seasoning, the hot sauce, the salt, the brown sugar, and the saffron powder, sorry. And I put enough water to cover the mangoes. So what I have the fire on is a high heat at the moment, and I'll turn it down once this starts to boil. So now that we've got a rolling boil, like everything in here is the one temperature, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our fire down from high to medium, and we're gonna let that boil. We can set a timer as well. I'm gonna set a timer for 45 minutes, and yeah, so we'll see. So our mango's been going from 45 minutes to now 23 minutes, so a good 20 minutes has passed, and the mango is getting tender, but I like to actually see the bone of the mango falling off. Yeah, so that has to kind of happen before I take this seriously. So I'm gonna leave it here and let it continue to boil for the next 22 minutes that's left on the clock. and we'll be back to check it and see if we need more time or if that time was sufficient enough. So my mango is still on the fire. My beeper is just going off. I'm going to turn it off right now. So my 45-minute timer just went off, and that's great. Now the mango is pretty good, but like for me it's not quite there yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 1 cup of water, boiling hot water by the way, and I'm gonna set another timer for 30 minutes. So out of that 30 minutes I only am gonna use 15, so which bring the total cooking time for the mangoes to an hour. I'm gonna be shutting the stove off. I'm gonna be turning off my timer, and I'll be removing this mango off of the stove. It is kind of where I like it to be. Like I like it to be falling off the bone, like I say, super tender, so that even the skin tastes like the flavor I'm trying to put into the mango. So now I'm just gonna be transferring it over into a container where it will be stored and where it will cool. I'm gonna be using some of this for the Palourie that I'm gonna be frying in a bit, because I mean Palourie goes really good with the mango. So yeah, I'm just getting this transferred over to this, and then I'll move on to my next item. So yeah, that's it for now here. By the way, the gravy on this mango sauce is pretty thick, which is what you want, because you want a nice base to dip your Palourie in. So you could see the little clumps of mango in there and that sauce as it drips off, right? So you kind of want that too. So yeah, I'm just gonna douse. As you can see, it's kind of thick on the bottom, which is good. When it gets cooler, it'll be nice and thick, like a syrupy kind of texture. So I'm back for my Palourie mixture that's been just in the microwave hanging out for about a good 2 hours. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into the frying process of this. I'm gonna give it a nice little stir, and then we're gonna add it to some hot oil on a medium-high fire. So 2 cups of oil on a medium-high fire and very hot. So this is super ready. You see how it's like the perfect consistency for this. So yeah. So I'm just gonna give it a nice stir. It's totally ready to start being fried. However, my oil needs to heat up. I need my oil to get super hot. And by the way, I ended up using 3 cups of oil because I need these to float completely. So everything is about prep. I have a bowl here that's lined with paper towel to be receiving those Palouries when they come out. So I'm gonna just place the lid on it for each batch that I take out. However, it's really important to have this kind of stuff ready to go, and you're also gonna need I'm probably gonna go with 1 morsel like this to be flipping them. So my oil is super hot and ready. So the first thing I do is I'm gonna be using this teaspoon to drip the Palourie into the oil. So I just get it doused in a bit of oil first so that the spoon doesn't really stick. So yeah, we're gonna go in like this. So it doesn't take very long to get golden, so it's, you should stand there with it and keep flipping them so that nothing stays on one side. It should all be one nice golden color. So I flip them so that nothing gets brown or burnt. So this batch is about ready. This only took like a minute to fry. It doesn't take very long. Like I say, once it catches the color, it's time to go. And this is the color. Yeah, so you just keep stirring them so they don't burn, and make sure they're flipped and both sides get a nice little golden color. So here we go. Here is the Palourie. Nice and golden. They're super hot right now. So here I have a serving of cucumber chutney. and the mango, sweet and spicy mango, I should say. And I have a nice bowl of Palourie as well that goes along with that. Yeah. And that's the Palourie, of course.